So one piece of advice that gets uh, thrown around a lot, and usually for good reason, to startup founders is that solve a problem. And it is honestly good advice. But I think there is another facet to that advice that doesn't get talked about too often. So, welcome back. This is episode 4 of How to Screw Up. I'm Piyush Verma. I've been an entrepreneur, a founder, someone who's built a lot of products with hand and generated a lot of sales by selling those very products. And I continue to do that to this day. Over the past decade of doing these things, I've made a lot of mistakes. And in this season or in this series, uh, kind of looking back at those experiences and uh, pondering upon things that I could have done differently uh, for better outcomes. And I hope to share this information with all of you out here so that you might find some value in it if you are someone who's also starting up. So today's topic is about solving a problem, which is essentially the precursor to building a good product. So if you are thinking of starting up, it's quite possible that you have found a problem that is not being solved currently to your expectations, and you intend to build a product that solves that very problem. And that's a great base to build a product. But I would like for you to think of another aspect of this statement before starting up. Do you really care about the problem that you're solving? And when I mean care about, are you emotionally invested in the problem? So for example, we were running a garage and a cafe right out of college, and we decided to build this garage because we were really passionate about motorcycles, and we wanted to build custom motorcycles. We wanted to enter the electric vehicle space with a motorcycle or a two-wheeler, and we were deeply invested into the whole thing. To me, have been dreaming about building custom motorcycles since my days in school, where I used to follow the likes of Rajputana Customs or Old Delhi Motorcycles, some of the OG custom motorcycle builders in the Indian motorcycling scene. So to me, that was something that really uh, that was something that I was really emotionally invested in. Now, after starting up, we faced a lot of issues. We weren't able to raise funds for the kind of product that we wanted to build. We weren't able to develop prototypes, and we had to pivot quite often, something that we will talk on another day. But it so happened that we stumbled upon, after a lot of trial and error, on electric bicycles. And to be honest, the first time I rode an electric bicycle, I was completely hooked. I almost felt like a superhuman. I was able to pedal faster, harder, you know, but wasn't feeling the fatigue because I was being assisted by a very tiny electric motor. Till then, the word power had a very different definition, but here I was seeing electrical power working in tandem with, my biological power, if you may say so. So it was a great idea, and you know, all three of us, the founders, were kind of impressed, and we decided, why not start building in this area. I mean, they're still two-wheelers, you know, they're electric powered. The barrier to entry is far lower than building, say, a full-fledged motorcycle because the development time is shorter, the development costs are shorter. You don't really need to homologate the product, and you can start selling right out of your garage without a lot of compliance. So that said, we started working towards it and we built a few prototypes. We got in touch with a lot of cyclists. We took good feedback. People liked our product, uh, but we kept iterating and trying to find the right product. But it so happened that we never sold one, and there were multiple reasons that we didn't sell one. And this was also one of the last projects before we actually shut down our entire venture. But in retrospect, when I think about it, my heart still goes out to motorcycles. You know, I personally am not a cycling person. Uh, somewhere I was trying to build a story around how cycling is in my life, and but before that, I wasn't somebody who regularly rode a bicycle, electric or normal. And once the company closed, I didn't ride an electric bicycle after that either. So, was it something of a problem? Was it a problem that I was solving? Yes. Did I care about the problem as deeply as I should have? Maybe not. So, I guess that's the question that you need to ask yourself. Do you really, really care about the problem that you're trying to solve? Because honestly, especially in a country like India, there are 1,000 problems that can be solved. But if you really want to make a mark, you really have to be passionate about it. Other examples are one of our Indian sweetheart brands, Royal Enfield. When Siddharth Lal took over at the age of 26, he deeply cared about those motorcycles. There are stories of Siddharth Lal riding a red machismo throughout Europe trying to test it. Even till date, the whole team at Royal Enfield rides every product that they've built. You can see that in their communication, you can see that in the way they tell their story. They genuinely care about motorcycles, they genuinely care about riders, and that kind of shows in their brand. Small details that matter. Of course, one might argue they might not be the most technological advanced motorcycles, but that was in the past. They're now coming up with amazing motorcycles, world-class motorcycles, because they genuinely care. But they're also stuck to their roots. So if you look at the entire, if you look at every aspect of Royal Enfield, it's a very beautifully knit story. It combines heritage, it combines passion, it combines curiosity to some level, and it combines a genuine love for motorcycling. Another example that comes to my mind is of the G-Shock. So the founder of G-Shock was uh, he had a mechanical watch that was, I think, gifted to him by his father, and when he bumped into a pedestrian on road, the watch fell off his wrist and broke. So he wanted to build a watch that was essentially unbreakable, and hence the term G-Shock. He had this emotional investment into the product that he was building. And when you're emotionally invested, that kind of motivates you to go that extra mile to build something iconic. And just like Royal Enfield, G-Shocks are iconic. You can still solve a problem and build a great product, but will that product be iconic? I guess not until you're emotionally invested into it. So, yeah, uh, that's something that I guess you should ask yourself if you're building a product, and if this video and this series of videos is something that is adding value to you, please do consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Uh, we have a couple of more episodes coming up, uh, around 7 or 8, in which I'll be breaking down other experiences and other learnings that I've gathered over the last 10 years of being in the startup world, having my own startup, interacting with other startups, working at other startups. And I'll see you in the next episode of How to Screw Up. Cheers.